Megumi's domain expansion Chimera Shadow Garden is not fully complete, but it's already one of the most versatile and tactical domains in the series. Instead of focusing on brute strength or automatic hits, it floods the battlefield with his shadow, turning the entire area into a dark fluid terrain that Megumi can control freely. Inside this domain, he can summon Shikigami, merge into shadows, teleport between different points, and hide attacks. He becomes completely unpredictable, allowing him to strike from any angle or disappear entirely. He even used it to trap enemies inside his own shadow, immobilizing them and gaining the upper hand. His Shikigami becomes stronger in this environment, and he can summon them more efficiently without hand signs. The domain gives him control over movement, positioning, and timing, making him extremely dangerous, especially in confined spaces. While the domain lacks guaranteed hits like others, Megumi's intelligence and creativity allow him to turn the battlefield into a deadly trap. It's like guerrilla warfare, where he never stays in one place for too long and always keeps his enemy guessing. With more experience, his domain will likely become complete and even more terrifying, giving him both versatility and overwhelming power. It's a reflection of his potential and his strategic mind. Sukuna's domain expansion, Malevolent Shrine, is unlike anything we've seen in Jujutsu Kaisen. It's a barrierless domain, meaning it doesn't create a sealed space. Instead, it manifests directly into the environment, creating a deadly 200-meter radius where Sukuna's slashing techniques cleave and dismantle, automatically target and cut down anything within range. What makes this even more terrifying is how cleave adjusts itself to the target's durability, cutting only as much as needed to kill, while dismantle is a clean slicing technique used against inanimate objects. This allows Sukuna to wipe out multiple enemies instantly without direct interaction. Since the domain overlays reality instead of trapping you in an isolated space, escape is virtually impossible unless you can outrun his reach or counter his cursed energy. This domain showcases Sukuna's mastery over his technique and cursed energy, allowing him to massacre entire areas with surgical precision. The sheer scale, combined with the auto-targeting nature of his slashes, makes Malevolent Shrine one of the most powerful and unique domains in the series. It's not just a tool, it's a weapon of mass destruction, and when paired with Sukuna's brutal combat intellect, it's no exaggeration to call it godlike. Mahito's domain expansion enhances his idol transfiguration technique to its absolute maximum, allowing him to reshape souls without needing to physically touch them. Normally, he has to land a hit to change someone's body by altering their soul. But inside his domain, that limitation vanishes. The moment you're inside his domain, you're already being affected. Your soul becomes vulnerable to his cursed technique instantly, without any defense. His domain looks like a twisted, fleshy temple, symbolizing his obsession with evolution and grotesque change within this place. Mahito becomes unstoppable. He can turn people into monsters in seconds, and doesn't need to fight them physically anymore. When he used this domain against Nanami and Yuji, he believed he had already won, but he underestimated the presence of Sukuna, who instantly rejected the effect because of his overwhelming cursed energy. But that exception only proves how lethal this domain is for anyone else trapped inside. The changes are automatic and irreversible. Mahito's domain isn't designed to fight, it's designed to end fights immediately. It's not flashy or explosive, but it attacks the very core of what makes a person human: their soul. It's deeply disturbing, and one of the scariest abilities, because there is no real defense. Once you're caught inside, it's a perfect tool for a sorcerer who sees life as just raw material for experimentation. Gojo Satoru's domain expansion, called Unlimited Void, is one of the most overwhelming and conceptually terrifying abilities in all of Jujutsu Kaisen. When he activates it, the target is pulled into the limitless realm of Gojo's mind, a place where infinite information is constantly being delivered to their brain. The person inside experiences everything all at once so rapidly that their senses become paralyzed, and their body can no longer move, even if they try to think, breathe, or act. Their nervous system is flooded with so much raw input that they shut down completely. What makes this domain so dangerous is that it doesn't kill you instantly. It simply incapacitates you, while Gojo can do whatever he wants to you in that state. Inside, Unlimited Void time feels stretched and endless, while only a second passes in the real world for the victim. It can feel like hours or days of mental overload. Even the strongest sorcerers are rendered helpless unless they have a domain of equal or greater strength to counter it. The interior of the domain looks like a massive, swirling cosmic landscape, representing the vastness of infinity and the emptiness of time. It's elegant, abstract, and destructive. All at once, the domain perfectly reflects Gojo's six eyes and limitless technique, creating a space where he becomes untouchable and omnipotent. It's not just a battlefield. It's a reality trap that breaks down your sense of self, your body, and your will, making it one of the most broken techniques ever shown in the series. Hakari's domain is different from most others because it doesn't give him an attack boost or a guaranteed hit. Instead, it activates a slot machine called Idle Death Gamble. Every time he uses it, the domain spins for a jackpot, and if he wins, he gains automatic reverse curse technique for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. During this time, Hakari becomes unkillable, no matter how badly he's injured. His body heals instantly, even if his heart or brain is destroyed. What makes it even more ridiculous is that he can repeat the process. Once the timer ends, he can spin again, and as long as he keeps getting jackpots, he can stay in this unkillable loop indefinitely. It's not about beating his opponent with power, it's about outlasting them while shrugging off fatal wounds. Even explosions, decapitations, or deep cuts can't kill him. As long as the regeneration is active, this domain turns the fight into a waiting game, where Hakari wins by wearing the enemy down or waiting for their mistakes. It's perfect for someone like him who thrives in unpredictable brawls and chaotic energy. Instead of overpowering opponents, he just outlives them. His domain proves that survival is sometimes the strongest ability in battle. Jogo's domain expansion coffin of the Iron Mountain transforms the battlefield into a fiery volcanic environment filled with lava, intense heat, and deadly eruptions once activated. The opponent is trapped in a hellscape where every step could mean instant death. The lava inside is real and fatal, and Jogo can manipulate it to attack in waves from any direction. His cursed technique is enhanced inside the domain, and all his fire-based attacks are guaranteed to hit, making escape almost impossible unless you have an even stronger domain or a counter technique. The visual of the domain is overwhelming, with molten rock raining from above and lava flooding the ground. It represents Jogo's belief in overwhelming destruction rather than precision. He doesn't try to outthink his opponents. He tries to erase them from existence. The domain is brutal, efficient, and a perfect extension of his rage and pride. The only reason it didn't succeed against Gojo is because Gojo's power is on another level against most other opponents. This domain would be a death sentence. Within seconds, it shows how powerful elemental domains can be when used with the right cursed energy and intensity. It's firepower made into a prison. The smallpox deity's domain functions like a cursed ritual designed to execute its target through a 3-step process. Once the domain activates, the opponent is instantly buried in a spiritual coffin. Then a gravestone drops on them, crushing their body. And finally, the cursed technique infects them with a supernatural virus that weakens and eventually kills them. The sequence happens so fast and mechanically that the victim can barely react, let alone escape. It's not a flashy combat domain, but more like a death sentence that activates as soon as you're caught inside. The design of the domain looks like a graveyard with spiritual energy swirling around, representing death, decay, and inevitability. It emphasizes the deity's role as a spirit of disease and punishment. Even if you survive the initial crushing, the curse continues through the infection, slowly draining your strength. It's systematic, clean, and terrifying because there's no room for improvisation or hope. It reflects a kind of divine judgment that sees life as a temporary condition and the domain as a final judgment chamber against weaker opponents. It guarantees death, and even strong sorcerers struggle to avoid the consequences of this cursed execution. Although Yuta has not shown a completed domain expansion, his bond with Rika Orimoto allows him to simulate many domain-like advantages. Rika is a fully manifested special grade spirit that can store cursed techniques, weapons, and cursed energy for Yuta to use during battle. He can copy techniques like cursed speech and use them in quick succession, which makes him highly unpredictable. If Yuta were to develop a true domain, it's likely it would allow him to combine multiple copied abilities within a sealed space, turning it into a zone of overwhelming versatility where he can switch from sword fighting to cursed speech to ranged attacks instantly. Even without the formal domain, his skill set feels like one he can summon. Rika defend himself and counter with stored powers while keeping pressure on his enemies. His massive cursed energy reserves allow him to fight for long periods and adapt quickly to any fighting style. While most domains focus on one ability, Yuta's potential domain would be about having every option and overwhelming his opponent with variety. It shows that power can come from flexibility and intelligence, not just raw force, and that's what makes Yuta so dangerous.